Wassail, beautiful people. I had to sing really quite forcefully or loudly, strongly, I don't know, because I'm getting this message of don't be not don't be shy, you know, don't get above your station. The message was don't get above your station, and it was no, do get above your station. So that's gonna be the theme of the reading when I get going. Not ready yet. I've been visiting beautiful realm, which has no name, but as a label I've been given Minata B. And I'm not sure whether it's Minata B, as in there's a second version, or whether it's just Minata B. It's an interesting realm of instruction, practice, rehearsal. It's everything's in reverse according to the way I understand the tarot. You come in as air, and in that realm somehow you are formless, you are air energy, and there are beings, plants, creatures who you become the breath that goes inside them and back out of them. And then eventually you move through emotions that you feel for the place and the beings and the oneness of everything. And slowly then you come down to you build a love for things and then a passion for some particular aspect of life on this planet, this realm, this space. And then you incarnate, but there's all this weird additional stuff where the planet has something like 17 or 13 moons. I'm really not sure. I think it's 17. It could be 19. And it's because of the way it works, there's periods, and I don't know the time length, but there are periods in which everything is kind of formed, is solid, and that's when it's facing its aquamarine coloured sun. No, it's the other way around, I think. Anyway, so there's one part when you're facing the sun, there's another part when you're facing away, and that's the actual planet has the realm has a really slow transitional cycle between light and dark, and that's why there's so many moons, because they illuminate form, they illuminate the solidified form. Sometimes these things, when you sense them, they're so complicated to bring into just words. That's that thing of giving it a label. I'm trying to label it, whereas it is just fluidity. Anyway, so, and then there's points where everything that was formed just sheds its physical body and becomes light body. It's something like an earth nursery where you practice being here, and people are, well, beings, because they're not people, they're beings, move and change and group and become things together and separate, and it's some kind of exploration of possibility. So the reason we're being given that is because there's something in this do get too big for your boots. That wasn't what I said before. I can't even remember what it was I said earlier. It doesn't matter. The point is there are lots of these phrases to keep us small. This is now about throwing the boxes away, throwing away those things where, you know, quite often you see readings online where people say, oh, don't tell anyone that, because they'll just give you negative energy. And that's part of something to do with this reading, which is how others impose their structured morality to stop you from taking off. I was talking with Teresa the other day, and we were saying that sometimes when you look at the world around you and you can't communicate almost with the people because you've had your first awakening, it's a little bit like if you were a caterpillar, you've gone through your transitional stage and come out as a butterfly. Do butterflies interact with caterpillars? Oh, I don't know. But I assume that they don't, because they're in a new frequency now. They're no longer earthbound. They're flying, they're soaring, they're dashing around. They've got a new purpose. And that's a lot like what's coming in for us. New purpose and personal purpose. You have to create the morality that you wish to go through. There's something about we just got to be bigger. Almost there's an energy of small gods. We're told to have respect for certain deities, or else. That's the part, or else. But we are divine. We have the cosmic song of the universe within us. It's just we don't tend to remember it because we're kept small. Anyway, 6 minutes, people. Let's go into I can't remember that phrase. I'm doing get too big for your boots, outgrow your boots. I can't remember what the phrase was originally. So can we please have a message? Message. That's like half the deck. I can't take that. I was singing too strongly. Let's go again, people. And look, you can do that. You know, sometimes when I used to read and big piles of cards have fallen out and I pick them up, people might write and say, they were really important cards. Then they'll come again. Because it's like having a rule book. We're meant to be breaking free from the book of rules that's being structured around us. Maybe you don't need any cards. And I just need to express all these incoming messages, because I've been getting these messages for a while about spiritual nannying and spiritual mesmerism. Do what I say, or else your world will go away. You know, you are divine. You create your world. I'm just helping you to look at different ways, but you can ignore anything I say. It's not my purpose to tell you that I am absolutely 100% correct, because this is how big our moral compass is compared to the possibilities, the endless and all of that stuff. It's way bigger. I'm going to put that deck down. I'm going to switch decks because I feel like I can't get into that deck now. And maybe there's some nice sounds that we need from this deck. Oh, I'm going to put a couple of links. I hope I remember, because that's also been being pushed through my head. So this Liffruma Healing Oracle deck, if you don't have the money to buy it at the moment, there are 2 free PDF versions of it. I'll put the link in the description box. And this one I can't yet publish because really I need to find a nest so that I have somewhere I can live, so that I can set up a system to post it to people. So there is a free PDF of this. Both of these PDFs have no artwork. And yeah, again, look, that's another of those things. You see, people tell me it's wrong and stupid of me to offer you it freely, because then it will stop people paying money for the full deck. Now, if you enjoy the raw versions of them, then at some point you might decide you can invest because you've moved outside of your moral confines and you're expanding. And so that will come in. And look, if you take the downloads and you want to make a donation, you can do that. But to me, it has to be freely available to honour my moral compass, because I just believe sometimes people need assistance and they don't have the money. So you can print the PDF, cut them into little cards, and you have a version of the deck, just without the artwork. And I love being able to offer that to you, even if I'm crazy. I've acknowledged that at times maybe I am crazy, but it doesn't matter. It's beautiful to be true. Lunatic eclipse and Scorpio 848. That's just interesting as an energy number, because it's a pathway into something way bigger and more divine. And then it's being brought back down to that very insular healing stillness of being inside the box and then coming back out. Deep X-ray diving and esoteric shadow feasting. Enjoy eating up all the shadows, all the restrictions. Lunar lucidity, sunless solutions. The things we find in there, in our coding, eat them all up and then come out again. Sorry, what have we got on here? Subwoofer speaker. I can't usually sing very low. Subliminal masks to supraliminal truths. What a supraliminal means, something that existed before. Supra. And it's forgotten. So we're stuck with these subliminal masks, subwoofer speaker, almost like earthbound moral truths. And there's an earlier one. You see now, I'm putting in this thing which is, we might mock the Neolithic, but they had more freedom. They had more freedom because they didn't have all the moral rule books that we've since created. There's an energy, the music of the spheres, the universal flow that just is. And that's this thing about going into the now, flowing into the now. That's really what that's talking about. So what do we have here? We have, oh God, we have quite a lot. So we have an A minor. A minor of the solar eclipse, because obviously A is the moon, the lunar eclipse, not solar, is the moon, and then C is Earth and E is the sun. So it's these three bodies working together. But it's really, the lunar eclipse energy is not external, that's solar eclipse. This is really internal energy. And it's working along with C of Mars, because obviously in the old terms of the rulerships, Mars ruled. See, let me finish that sentence and then I'll explain what's coming in. Mars ruled Scorpio, and then C sharp D flat Pluto ruled Scorpio. But they are in many ways small gods. In terms of the fact that we as living light force we are divine. So anyway, Let's just look at those two notes. And now I get the answer. So it's the transformation between C minor, the internal. Oh, you see, I didn't even get that as a musical thing. Minor energies take us inside. Major energies come out of us. That's interesting. I'm going to have to talk to my musical friends about that. So, as opposed to so it felt like it went in. But also interestingly, it's internal, but because of it being A minor, it's an internal realm world, because it's got the notion of it working intuitively to brighten our molecules, because C, Mars, is all the molecules. So an A minor chord is brightening all the molecules. I don't know anything about this, it's coming through now. And then when we go to the A C sharp E, it's connecting, it's pulling into the spinal energy behind us. So it's bringing our auric field frequency outside us to resonate more strongly out of us. See, I'm looking at that and thinking, I'm done now. Because if I push on, you're going to miss the point. I'm going to miss the point. So, 2 cards. So, the backs, that's why I picked them up. So, here we have, I am umbral, internal, shaded, all the molecules, all of our energy moving through the darkness within us. Not darkness as in fear, but there will be some, because they're what we have to undo. I am unveiled. So this is the song of Lilith. That's wondrous, the song of Lilith. And that's the dark side of the moon. But the dark side of the moon is the greater illuminated, the closer it is to the sun. You see, and that's that Minata B energy. It's coming through. It's to understand the difference between solidified and spiritual. I think Minata B is going to come up quite a lot. Visions from within the veiled realms. Internally. Blanketed in shadows is how we're expected to live in the physical world. And if we take the blanket off, someone will try and throw another blanket over you. Someone will try and tell you that what you believe is wrong. It's like the work we have, the tools that we have available, they're just different ways of interpreting a larger, more divine reality. And we live in a world at the moment where science dictates a series of moral frameworks and rules. And it is moral frameworks because they tell you that through their interpretation of the world, which is always changing, you must remember that everything in science changes all the time as they learn more, but it's merely just one way of interpreting this world. And we should interpret the world how it feels best for us. What makes you happy? So you have to look at that and you have to transform your philosophies, your moral compasses, your understanding, because the true workings of the world are way bigger than science has yet grown up to be. So, throw off the blankets of shadows. So triple point polarity, the sun, the earth and the moon, we've just come through 2 of those. So it's really sort of saying that at the moment, the universal energy is kind of backing us to have this transformation. And then Scorpio, I am frustrated. Yeah, life is frustrating. And it doesn't matter when you become frustrated, as soon as you spot the pattern, change it. Because in order to move into more heart's desired realms of being, you have to move past the frustrations. You have to change the patterns. So I am peace, euphoric. Here's a really interesting one. Unbiased listener. Unbiased listener. Integrated shadow walker. You've integrated them. You've changed the patterns of the frequency that your molecules resonate at, so your key is transformed and you can then move and shift into a dimension you'd rather be in. Infectious, mesmeric optimism. You see, I want to say I am unbelievably optimistic most of the time. There are moments when that energy drops and then it just comes back, and it sometimes frustrates me. And when I explain this to people, they don't get it. But that's how this optimism must continue, because that's how we climb out of any pits of despair that we might find ourselves in. So then the other thing I want to hear, guardian champion of dark esoteric realms. Wear the badge. I've done my shadow work. You know, that it's important. That's how we grow, how we stand strong when the world would rather blanket us and create weaknesses within us. This is the most beautiful phrase on here. In the shadow energy of Scorpio, the gangster pimp of the underworld. I'll just leave that one with you. So it also says drawn too far into their darkness. So that's the energy of Scorpio, because sometimes you have to be drawn too far in so that then you can pick up deeper rooted shadows, you know, and pimp your way back to life and the light. So anyway, that's this today's reading. Thank you all for watching. I get so excited to get up in the morning and wonder what messages might come through as I kind of meander and philosophize over a couple of coffees, and then sit down and see what comes through as messages. So anyway, have a beautiful day, wonderful, wonderful peace.